sausage and mash and gravy, Yorkshire pudding and roast potatoes. Eat your veggies by the bunch, listening to Mez's Sunday Lunch.
All right, welcome to Mez's Sunday Lunch, now with a shiny new jingle. Here I am with Mez.
Hello. Welcome to the back to school edition. School. Now that's a thing, isn't it?
It was a thing that happened. So yeah, we're sort of theming this based around the fact it's coming out when kids are back to school, by delving deep into the past and dusting off our murky memories of school time. And the jingle, I also want to say, was that 3 months in we finally got one. Congratulations, Mez.
I know. Well, hey, hang on a minute. It's my brother who's done it, and I hope everyone likes it. But yeah, he was quick. He was quick off the mark, and 3 months in, world domination behind us, we've got it.
Yeah,
you know,
that's how long it takes to do each song on the album as well, isn't it? 3 months ago, 3 months of labouring over it.
Exactly. But it's fitting that it's for the back to school edition, because you learn jingles at school, don't you?
It's true. You finally got your shit together. You've done your homework, and you're all ready with the jingle.
Exactly,
Mez. Before we kick off with your academic performance, before we get the scorecards out, do you have a song to kick us off?
Yes, I do. Let's kick off with a nice little tune by Arlo Parks called "Hurt."
I know you can't let go of anything at the moment. Just know it won't hurt so much forever. It won't hurt so much. Won't hurt so much forever. It won't hurt so much. Won't hurt so much forever. I know you can't let go of anything at the moment. Just know it won't hurt so. Won't hurt so much forever. It won't hurt so much. Won't hurt so much forever.
Great song. Love that song. I think she's absolutely incredible as well. I don't think she's put out a bad one, has she?
Yeah. Well, I think we were nominated for some AIM Awards, and she performed live. Well, not live. Well, it was live, but it was virtual live. And since hearing it there, I've had it in quite heavy rotation, but it's a nice little tune, and a good way to start. Good way to start today on this sunny Sunday.
Exactly. Yeah. So sunny Sunday, school tomorrow, Mez. Back to school. Yeah. First question here: were you any good at school? What any good? Any subjects you did well at? Any you did badly at? Right, we're going to parents' evening. What are the teachers I'm going to look out for? Which subjects are you not fond of?
Not fond of. I mean, I reckon I spanked school. I was pretty good at school. It wasn't until I got to sixth form where I was like, I can't be arsed. I'm too cool for this. Whereas at school, I was a bit of a, quite studious. I think I used to spank a little bit of geography. Used to dribble a little bit of history. Smashed in. I'll tell you what I did like, and obviously this connects to all of the others, and you can tell, but I loved cooking. And as you know, I'm a great chef, mate. So.
Is that even a subject? Were you there in cooking? They were like, right, final exam, recipe of your choice, and you were like, right, it's a sandwich with sweet chili sauce. I always forget this sandwich. It's so bad, I block it out. What is it?
It's peanut butter, mate. It's peanut butter, sweet chili, and lettuce. But
that's right.
I learned that kind of stuff at school. In fact, some of my earliest memories were school dinners, and I can remember what I had for. I remember eating school dinners. I used to have 2 lumps of cheesy mash and a side of chips.
Wow, that's a beige plate right there.
It was beige, mate, but you need beige to get you through the electric lights that is school.
That's true. Did you have that horrible strip lighting in the canteen? That like almost halogen kind of felt. In hindsight, whenever you watch a film set in a prison, it's a similar sort of lighting system.
Well, that's what school is really, and especially with the education system these days, they're fucking everyone over.
Social commentary there, Mez.
Whoops. No, but I can remember canteens. Do you know what was the best thing about our canteen where we went to school? You could you could like fill your pockets full of Powerballs, and if you went into the canteen and you launched them into the canteen, they would just ping around all the pots and off the like metal sides, and like basically fuck up all the chefs who were working there. I mean, when I say chefs, they weren't probably chefs, but
I thought you were studious. You were painting a picture of a very meek young man. What's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, I had a brain, but I was still a bit, I still was a bit like Robin Hood.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I want to see. We should have got someone else on, someone who went to school with you to interview to see whether this tallies up, because I think you're really making a myth here.
We'll never know. We'll never know. But I had a bit of a reputation for being, a bit noir.
Fuck's sake.
A little bit edgy. A little bit. Ooh, he's mysterious. Who is that guy? Well, it's Mez, isn't it?
You mean you didn't have any friends?
No, I had friends. My first friend at school was called Condom. I'm not even lying. His name was Condom.
You gonna explain that one, or are we just gonna?
It was his second name, wasn't it? It was his second name. It was actually Condon, but
right.
We called him Condom.
Of course, yeah, that's an easy one, isn't it?
Yeah,
did you have any
that's
nicknames?
The great thing about school. Just Mez.
Well, that's no fun. You didn't have no insulting nicknames.
Mez. That was it, really.
Not really much you can do with Mez. That's not my name, is it?
So Mez was the one, and it stuck. Right. Everyone just knew me as Mez. They didn't even need to use my second name, really. It was just
Which was
Mez.
Condom.
No, my second name wasn't Condom, but one of my mates was called Condom.
I just assume like everyone,
When you go to school, no one's ever called by their name, are they? It's like, oh, there's Condom, or there's Simo, or there's like Radders. It's always like these names that are like fabricated from certain parts of their name.
That's true.
You never call anyone Ben. If it was Ben, it would be, I don't know, B-Dog.
Well, you might call someone Ben, but their real name wouldn't be Ben, and no one would know why they were called Ben.
Oh yeah, that is a good rule as well. Yeah, so it's like, you call someone by like, oh, there's Kevin. He ain't actually called Kevin. He's actually called Tarquin, but everyone called him Kevin.
Tarquin in the Victorian times, the Tarquins and the Oscars.
Exactly. But yeah, school, man. Oh, it kind of fills me with memories of giddiness and memories of utter pain.
Well, which school are you talking about here? Because I think
probably secondary school.
Yeah, there's very different memories between like the kind of warm bosom of primary school and then secondary school where you're of being a little urbit, which it sounds like you are throwing fucking Powerballs around. Jesus.
Mate, Powerballs. I used to get sweets from the vending machine called Fizzy Jerks, and I used to smash them around the playground.
Is your school still there? Because mine,
yeah, Cherry Willingham. Yeah,
mine was knocked down the year after I left, so I can never have that nostalgia tour. Like posh people are always like, "Oh, I went to my school reunion 20 years on." Mine's gone. My whole school got knocked down literally 6 months after I left. So I've got nothing.
No, when I go back to where my mum and dad are from, just in Lincolnshire, I went to a comprehensive out that way. It's still there. It looks the same. I think it became an academy after I left, but it was a bog standard comprehensive when I was there.
Yeah, mine became an academy. Then they knocked it down and built a much nicer one directly behind it. Because the one I was in was meant to last about 20 years, and it had been there for about 50. One of the windows fell out when I was in maths class once and just shattered on the floor like 2 floors below. I think they just sort of taped it up.
Our sports hall was an absolute cavern, and there just used to be birds in it flying around in the roof, and you'd be trying to boot them with a ball. Because they were just flying around shitting everywhere. And the caretaker could never get them. Do you know what I mean? So you go in there and it'd be like,
how many birds are we talking? What, like a fucking family of birds?
Well, there was a few pigeons and a few seagulls. And
a few
they used to
seagulls?
Get in there. Yeah, mate, they are some big bastards as well, I can tell you that. They look like pterodactyls, but that's not as scary as the shower block. So you know.
What you have in there? Fucking gremlins or something?
Nah, just fucking, it was grim. I remember my first sports lesson, and you'd go we went into the changing rooms, and obviously I'd come from, like, our primary and junior, it was like, you just used to get changed in like a nice cubicle. And then I went into the secondary school sort of like toilet area where the showers were, and fuck me, it was grim. Like, it was just a tiled wall, and you just had to like strip down, and just get in there, and everyone was sort of like looking at each other. And obviously you're going through a lot of changes in year 7, you know.
That's not what you want, is it? That's not what you want.
Or you're not. You're either sprouting or you're not sprouting. And, you know, luckily I was advanced, of course, but like there was people in there who wasn't.
No, I'm cutting this. Like, play another song, Mez. This is good. I don't want any part in this on a Sunday afternoon. What other song have you got for us?
No. Right, let's play Valley's Working Men's Club.
Trapped inside a town, inside my mind. Stuck with no ideas, I'm running out of time. There's no quick escape, so many mistakes, I'll play the long game. This winter is a curse, and the valley is my hearse. When will it take me to the grave?
Another banger. You getting the bangers out today, Mez?
Yeah. Well, you know, let's go bangers. Back to school. Back with a bang.
That's true. Exactly, yeah. Did you get the bus to school?
I used to get the bus home. And my dad would drop me off before work. But yeah, I'd get the bus home. And I was one of those lucky people who managed to work themselves all the way to sit at the back of the bus.
Wow,
you know,
that's
there
the
was
dream.
like a hierarchy system that you had to go through and a rite of passage. And I managed to get, by year 10, the second to last year, I was on the back, man. I was on the back. But
How'd you
it
do
took
that?
a while.
Hard work,
And it's,
perseverance.
it's a mission to get there. Perseverance, graft, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and you can get to the back. That's how I would say it. We used to go. But I can remember in that first year, you know, I wouldn't dare sit at the back. But yeah, by the end, I was on the back, and that was like that was a massive thing at our school. If you could sit on the back of the bus, you were, you know, one tier above. To be honest, that's what's awful about school. It's all done in sort of like hierarchies and cliques, and you have to sort of like work your way through those kind of cliques. I'm not proud of it, but I just did it.
Yeah, plus on the bus, the back seats are slightly raised up, aren't they? So it's even more like throne-like to be up there.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's again, like, I'm not proud of it, but yeah, you were sort of, you know, being able to look down on everyone. Not that I agree with that
exactly
these days, and neither did I back then. Obviously, I was potently political, but you know, I did enjoy sitting at the back. Not gonna lie.
Right, we're at the back of the bus. What tunes are you playing us, Mez? Through your tinny phone speaker.
For the tinny phone speaker. Well, back then I would have been playing. Well, what was I playing back in secondary school? Depends on it. It changed year by year, but I was probably big into my 90s sort of Britpop. Even though I didn't go to school in the 90s, it was obviously in the 2000s. But I was big into sort of the Britpop era, so I'd have been probably playing songs like that. But I guess for the purpose of this, I will be playing "Golden Rope" by Tina.
I see a golden rope hanging in every room. I see a golden rope hanging in every room. Let's talk about mental health, mental health. Breathing in
Cool. That was Golden Rope by Tenia, which obviously you wouldn't have been able to play through the tinny phone speakers. You would have been too busy with the Britpop. But still, that's the joy of the radio. We get to play fast and loose with history, like we're pretending that Mez was popular as well, aren't we?
Hey, mate, I was popular. I swear down. I mean, no one's ever going to be able to elaborate that for you, but, school was my thing, Everything's my thing. School was my thing. I loved school. Sort of.
Sort of. Warwick, were there any...
I'll tell you what I loved about school.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, what was your absolute favourite subject was what I was going to say. What was the one that you actually genuinely look forward to?
Probably history. I quite liked a bit of history at school.
Yeah, same. That was the one.
Other than that, art was good. Art was fun, especially when you were like drawing a fish, and then at lunch that fish appeared in a puddle outside. You know what I mean? Like, because someone had stole it from like the room, and it was like everyone was crowding around a big fish in a puddle, and it's like, fuck me, it's come from the rain and it's come from the clouds. Everyone's like, whoa. Now those were the days in art school when you got to draw things like dead fish.
Right, that seems like a very niche. You said that like that was a common occurrence, but that seems like a very specific. I don't think that ever happened to me. Have
you not drawn a dead? Yeah, loads of people have drawn dead fish at school. Surely.
And then put them in a puddle, and then someone's come to the puddle and thought it was real, and everyone's gathered round. I don't think that's happened.
That's happened. That happened at our school. Literally, most weeks, you'd find fish in puddles, and everyone would be like, whoa, what's going on? It's raining fish. And then you'd, get told off, wouldn't you, from the art teacher, because you were always nicking the stuff that you had to draw.
Were they putting drugs in the tap water at this point? Is this what had happened?
Probably. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them, to be honest. And that's the thing about school, and it's new discoveries.
That's true.
You find yourself one day you find yourself drawing a dead fish. The next day you find yourself maybe experiencing drugs for the first time. And another thing is most people start, masturbating at school, don't they?
What? No, I can't keep up with what is happening here. Right, dead fish, masturbation. What's going on, Mez? I don't understand it. I did actually once see a seagull throw up an entire burger at school, and that really stuck with me.
Yeah.
As like an image. Just landed and threw up a whole cheeseburger, and then just started pecking at it like nothing had happened. Didn't like that.
I guess what I'm trying to say is you try new things at school, don't you? So you probably try your first cigarette. Maybe you try your first illegal cigarette. That's what I'm trying to say, really, in a nutshell.
Yeah. Here he is, skirting around the issue, just in case I'm secretly an undercover policeman, but got it out of you in the end.
Yeah.
Did you have a favourite teacher, Mez?
I quite liked the science teachers, because they seem to be a bit more sort of like, they seem to be a bit more on edge. Like, maybe they'd been around the science labs too long, and, the Bunsen burners were getting to their heads. But they seemed to have a bit of a laugh where we were. And I can remember one time when we were like burning, like, did you ever like burn magnesium in like Petri dishes and stuff and exploded and stuff? I can remember a few of us nicking quite a bit of the magnesium and like burning it in doorways, so that when like people open the door, it would be like, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. That was quite good science stuff.
I don't really
part of the lesson.
I don't really remember like the point, because I remember you do the magnesium burning, and that one that you put on the water and it flies around on the water and reacts with it. But I don't remember the lesson. Yeah. I just remember the kind of small explosion. So I think, like, in hindsight, the science teachers are just like, maybe we'll make some stuff blow up today for fun because I'm bored and I don't get paid that much.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the good stuff. That's the good stuff. Like. That was like everyone would be like buzzing, because it's like we get to set fire to like stuff that's going to go bang.
It would be like once a term as well, wouldn't it? It'd be like the big lessons coming up, and you'd know it was coming up.
Yeah, because that stuff was probably quite expensive, so it was like they could only do that once a month.
Exactly.
The other times other times you're probably boiling water and trying to find out what temperature it boils at, and then if you put salt in it, does it go faster or does it go slower? That kind of daft stuff.
Oh,
Do you know
that
what
really
I mean?
boring one where that you have to boil the water and then you have to check whether the water that condenses is salty. That wasn't fun.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're trying out for different temperatures and different boiling points by using sort of like, I don't know, you put an ice cube in it, or you put salt in it, or you put, I don't know, gravy powder in it.
We had one chemistry teacher that just made us copy stuff off the board. That was like the whole lesson. He'd write something, people would copy it. He was the worst. And that was chemistry. That's meant to be the fun one, you know? That's meant to be the one with the stuff blowing up.
I mean, it's one of the hardest, but it is supposed to be one of the most fun because you actually get to do practical stuff.
No, not with him. I can't even remember his name. I've blocked him from my memory. Can't remember his name at all.
He's been absolutely blocked.
He has consigned to the dustbin of my brain.
Yeah. You know what I can remember about the schools? Can you remember every year you have to do one of those giant school photos?
Yeah.
You know, where they assemble all of the year and you go into like the big assembly room and everyone's like, and it's kind of like, everyone's like, it kind of makes you feel bad because if you're not tall, you sat down at the front and it's kind of, again, it's a school.
It's a prestige thing, isn't it? Definitely. Because I was quite short and then I got tall in like year 11 and I got to stand on the bench at the back, I think it was. And it was like the proudest moment of my life.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what I mean. Everyone was buzzing when you're at the back.
You sound quite down. You sound a bit depressed.
No, I wasn't seated, but I wasn't at the back. I was probably, you know, I'm a good 5'10". I was probably, I think I was like 2 from the back. But I was never on the seat, mate. I was never on the seat. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's not good, is it?
Because then you'd have to sit with the teachers, and that's the worst, isn't it? If you have to sit with all them teachers.
You have to sit next to a teacher. Nah, none of that. Why do the teachers even get the photos? I've never really understood it. Like, what, each year they just get a photo with a load of kids they'll never see again?
Yeah, well, I'd be burning it. That's what I'd be doing if I was a teacher. Because why would you want one of them every year?
In a sort of ritual,
each year, like the teacher's sort of like demeanor and skin color is even more anemic as it goes on, and your health deteriorates. I mean, not a way to be captured in history, is it?
That's true. We had a maths teacher who was definitely an alcoholic, and, you know, we used to make fun of it, but in hindsight, that was a deeply unhappy man. And every year he had to get a photo with a bunch of kids that had driven him to alcohol.
Yeah. Did you ever have those teachers where they would be like, obviously they chain smoke, so like at any break time or any sort of like lunch, they'd just literally go into their car and probably do a 20-pack of Benson and Hedges.
Yeah. And it would literally be like the second the bell rang, they'd be like first out the door.
First out, man, yeah. And it's like literally you could see them in their cars from one of the higher buildings, and they're just hotboxing, just literally chain smoking, marking papers, just chain smoking. And then they come out and it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
But you know, those people did also earn kind of like some weird sort of like respect for being unhealthy. Do you know what I mean? It's like, whoa, have you seen Mr. Pinder? He's in his fucking Ford Cortina smoking fucking 20 Benson and Hedges. What a lad.
Plus,
do you know what I mean? People would be like that.
It's a scale that you can understand, right? So you've had your first cigarette and you're like, God, if I have more than one, I'll feel sick. And you see a guy smoke 20, there's a bit of like, God, what a machine, you know?
Yeah, I know. You'd be like, what an absolute machine. But, you know.
Right. Have you got another song for us, Mez? How are we doing?
Yeah, let's play Ghostpoet. I grow tired but dare not fall asleep.
Kids, bury my head until this life becomes fair, and I grow tired but dare not fall asleep. Who knows what will await if I fall too deep? Call it a mission, call it an interfere, but I am awake, and I grow tired but dare not fall asleep. Who knows what will await if I fall too deep? Call it a mission, call it an interfere, but I am awake, I swear in my dreams.
Not a very catchy name, that one. Bit of a long one.
No, it's a long title, but it's a good song. It's a good song, and sort of hits the midpoint of the cast, I guess, and so it's a nice little number to play out in the middle.
That's true, yeah. You really are approaching this as a sort of Jarvis Cocker vibe, isn't it? That Sunday service. He always used to play one in the middle that was just a bit, a bit edgy, a bit weird. See if you were still paying attention.
Yeah, well, you've got to. Yeah, exactly. We've had so many technical difficulties. They've all probably fucked off by now.
That's true. Yeah, I would, but I have to stay here. I'm contractually obliged.
Play an edgy song, maybe they'll come back.
Maybe. You can only hope.
Yeah.
What was your favourite age to be at school? This is an interesting one, I think. What was your favourite year at school?
I think year 11.
At the end when you're king of the roost.
Because my school didn't have my school didn't have a sixth form attached to it or a college attached to it. So it was like literally you were year 7 to year 11. So once you were in year 11 and you just hit like 15, 16, you thought you were I can remember turning up in year 7, looking at the year 11s thinking, fuck me, they're adults. And then when you get to that point, you're just like, yes. So I have fond memories of year 11. And then by that point, you sort of, school's gone because you move into sort of the college or sixth form system, and that you can express yourself how you want, and you don't always have to go to the lessons. You're not forced anymore. It's almost like, look, if you're going to learn, you're going to learn. If not, it's your own fault. So I think year 11 for me was like was a banging year, and I just sort of like I can remember it vividly, and all of the fun that you used to get up to, and just like. I don't know, like we had like daft stuff like year 11 prom, went to the dance and stuff like that, Yeah,
we had one of those as well.
Got a little tipsy at 16, and just pretending to rule the school was with whatever cohort or whatever clique you were with. It genuinely felt like all of those cliques were having a great time, even if, everyone was segregated in a way. But, within your own cohort, everyone was loving it because it was, the last year.
I think as well, there's never really a point again in your life where you are, in the same place as someone who you're, so much kind of older than. Even when you're at work, you're all adults. Whereas when you're there and you're in year 11, you're looking at the year 7s like, you are a child. Bow down to me. Even the nerds, the kids that got bullied, they were at it too. They were still striding around in year 11, weren't they?
Well, it is because you've got to think you're going through a lot of changes. So year 7 to year 11, that is massive. It would be nothing now in terms of like you say at work or anything. That age gap is absolutely nothing. But at school, I did feel like in year 7, I was, at the bottom of the ocean trying to pick up a piece of seaweed. Whereas when I was in year 11, I thought I was the great white, just smashing around, eating everything.
And never have you felt so powerful again.
No, never actually, to be honest. I think I've slowly become less and less powerful.
Yeah, I'm still living off that feeling,
Yeah. And also, the things at school, there's stuff that, you can sit in the boozer and talk about it. We had a phantom shitter at our school. No one ever knew who it was, but every week there would be a shit in one of the basins in one of the toilets. Every week, no one ever knew who it was. I actually think it was a teacher, but no one ever knew, and it was just steeped in legend. The phantom shitter. Well, the phantom shitter's been in again, and it was that kind of stuff doesn't happen after school, does it?
No, that's true. Do you think some people, at the pub with their mates, being like, "Yeah, it was me. I was the phantom shitter."
I would love to know.
The big reveal.
Imagine if it was your best mate. You think you've known them forever and ever, and then they were like, "By the way, I was the phantom shitter," and you'd just be like, "What the fuck?"
That'd ruin it, wouldn't it? I was actually talking to a mate of mine recently about this odd thing at schools, about these rumours that go around every school, and no one knows where they come from. Marilyn Manson had 2 of his ribs removed so he could give himself a blowjob.
Yeah, I remember stuff like that because it was in the height of nu metal, and everyone was talking about all that kind of stuff, and it was is that true? But everyone was he's had 2 of his ribs removed.
I've met people from France who have said that was at their school as well, and I'm like, where's it come from? Where? Who started this rumor? What was it? An interview that he said it? Where's it come from? Because it's still there,
There was all sorts of rumors around. It was just it was just like, and once you believed them, you believed them. I can't. There was others. I can't. There was. I mean, there's probably ones that most rumors were probably very, never really politically correct either. So I probably can't really talk about them. But it was just one of those things, wasn't it? And it was like, you see, I look back at that and I'm like, oh yeah, that was ace. Just because you're never going to
Do you remember the Frosties adverts with the kids singing? They're going to taste great. The rumor was that he killed himself, right? That was a rumor at my school. And I brought it up with a mate recently and said, God, do you remember that rumor that the Frosties kid killed himself? And he was just like blown away. He's like, what? He didn't kill himself? And I was like, no, that was just a rumor. And he was like, I've spent my whole life thinking that he killed himself. That's how deep these rumors go. As an adult, he's still genuinely, he never looked it up. He just thought like, well, I heard it at school, so it must have been true.
One of the ones at ours was that Peter Andre was dead. But
what? Well, surely that's easy to disprove.
Well, he wasn't. Well, no one. He'd mysterious girl, and he literally, he'd mysteriously gone, and then suddenly he was next to Ant and Dec on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, winning it, and he was like, "Nah, he won't. He's not dead. He's there."
All this time, he's been in the jungle. He hasn't been dead. He's been living with the cockroaches.
But they're the kind of rumors.
Well, I guess that's doubly confusing because in the Mysterious Girl video, he's kind of in that waterfall, isn't he, in the jungle? And then you turn on I'm a Celebrity and he's in the jungle with Ant and Dec. It almost feels real, doesn't it? Feels like he's just sort of wandered over.
Same full circle. It was very mysterious to me.
He's done well out of that, though. He's still famous now. Really cemented himself.
Yeah. He just had a year of 20 years in the wilderness, and then he came back, and everyone was like, why did I even believe that?
I wonder if he was in the same place as the Frosties kid who apparently killed himself. Maybe they all lived together.
It's just folklore school stuff, isn't it?
It's always someone quite low rent, isn't it? It's always someone like Peter Andre or the Frosties kid where everyone knows who they are, but no one really cares, so no one actually bothers to look into it.
Yeah. And then
Maybe
there's just daft stuff at school as well. I can remember, did anyone ever shoot you in the arse with a BB gun or anything like that? Just daft stuff.
I got hit in the cheek with a BB gun, which actually, in hindsight, any higher, I could be blind in one eye.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's not a laughing matter, but I can just remember, those mad-head kids who just for some reason decided to bring a BB gun in, and then on a weekly basis they'd be firing out at people, and it's just what the hell is going on?
Yeah, in hindsight, at the time at the time you're just fine with it. In hindsight, you're like, yeah, that's not good, is it? That's probably a bad thing.
No, absolutely awful. And there's been a lot worse things of a similar nature in schools. Yet when I was at school, something that could escalate to something so tragic was just sort of, shrugged off.
I think, like you say, it's that bloke. He's chain smoking in his car. He's got no time to tell people off for having BB guns, is he? He's got his own stuff going on.
No.
Do you ever get told by a teacher that if you leant back on your chair that you'd crack your head open and die, and someone at the next school over died or something?
Oh God, yeah. Or,
classic.
Those teachers were full of stories like that, and to be fair, they probably are. Some of them are true, but I can remember. Did you ever have those kind of people who were just absolute twats in your class, and you stand up?
No, we went to different schools, Mez.
But if you stood up to read something, and then they move your chair, so when you go to sit down, you just literally fall.
Yeah,
Absolutely damage your spine. Absolutely fuck you. Yeah, that was a massive thing that used to happen at every day at school.
Yeah, but you're springy at school, aren't you? You're more more damage resistant.
Yeah, you are more damage resistant. Yeah.
I remember a kid just turned around once and just stabbed me in the ankle with a compass, just unbidden.
No way. There's a note on my computer here that says, I can remember, especially, I don't know what it was, obviously in maths and stuff like that, but there was this kid at our school, I think his name was Aaron, and he would sit in maths and he had his compass and he'd just go around stabbing people in the back but like just kind of like in an aggressive way, but in a way that like kind of went unnoticed by the teacher. And like there must have been like at least 5 kids coming out with like little red pricks on the back of their white shirts. Do you know what I mean? Like,
he definitely kills cats now or something, doesn't he? Like that's a real warning sign. Like,
yeah.
You should round them up, knock them away. Yeah,
like, why do they even like? If you're just saying that you got stabbed in the ankle by a compass, I mean, compass stabbing is a thing at school, and
it's just like, look, we want you to draw a circle, so we're going to give you this group of teenagers filled with raging hormones and no consciences, a stabbing implement. You know, state of that. Plus, it's maths. No one likes maths. Like everyone's looking for an excuse to fuck around, aren't they?
Oh man. Well, yeah, I mean, like, maths at my school was awful. Like, we just used to piss around, you know, and then you sort of blagged it when it got to the exam stage, because really, how much of maths can you learn? You either are good at counting or you're not.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, all of that algebraic stuff, that just blew my head. I was just like,
I was always all right at maths.
I into the back of my calculator and then go into the exam and cheat.
Yeah, well, that's what loads of people did, wasn't it? You just write stuff on different bits. People used to write stuff on their legs and just go to the toilet. Like, it's pretty easy, really, isn't it?
It's easy, yeah.
Right, have you got another track for us? It's been a while. We're probably
go on. Sorry, I'm talking too much.
I was going to say, should we play another track, and then we can get straight back into it, Mez? Hold the thought.
All right. So let's play Nas Ultra Black.
Occasion we rose to that, fuck on postal. We going ultra black, watching the global change, hop in the coldest range. Hit boy on the beat, this shit poster slap. We going ultra black. We going ultra black. Raiders Oakland hat, I smoke to that. Pre-rolls and yak, what's the results to that? C notes and bags. She knows I'm classy like I'm Billy D. Williams. Go ultra black. Isaac Kennedy films, Penitentiary 2. Black like out in the loop. Black don't crack, it's like the fountain of youth. The coach is black.
I think is that the first hip hop track you've played in the shows we've done? Have you played any others?
I think it might be, yeah. And I've been listening to it quite a lot because it's been on the 6 Music playlist and thereabouts. But it's a hard-hitting song, so I thought I'd stick it in, you know?
You're trying to show off and maintain your place at the back of the bus.
Well, you know, I've got to keep that place at the back of the bus where I could have a cheeky cigarette and, you know, draw knobs on the window. That's another thing at school. You become amazing at drawing knobs.
Yeah, like artisan almost.
Like literally, knobs riding bullets, knobs riding cars, knobs, all in the back of your book. People would just be loving it. And I don't know, for some reason, it's like a piece of paper would be, you know, or have you ever been one of the where you hand your textbook in and you get it back and someone's drawn a massive cock on your fucking front of it?
Always, like, yeah. Well, like you could always tell the kid in the class that was least popular because every single week it'd be like, oh, someone's drawn another massive knob. That's it. Like, couldn't give it to anyone without them doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed drawing cocks. I did it for fun. I think people did. It was just one of them things. Maybe it's because you're going through puberty.
Is that your true calling?
Well, I was good at drawing knobs. You know?
I don't know where to go from that. I do not know where to go from you just saying that, to be honest. Who knows, mate? What did you do at college anyway? You went to college, didn't you? You went to a separate college.
Yeah,
you weren't the big boy anymore. You were just one of the group again.
Yeah, well, so what was it? I went to sixth form, so it was year 12 and 13. And that was just was like the Strokes were at peak power, and like Kings of Leon were coming in, and I was wearing like really tight jeans and all that kind of shit. Like I thought I was like, I think like a lot of 17, 18-year-olds at the time thought they were like the bollocks. But yeah, what did I study? History, geography. I dropped out of biology, and then I did general studies. I didn't do too well at sixth form. Like, I just wanted to go out and just be with people.
When's your birthday? Because I find this is quite a good indicator. Because my birthday, my 18th, was after my exams, so I did all right. But all my mates who had it before exams, like they just didn't do any revision. They were just down the pub, you know.
Yeah. Well, my birthday's in March, but I was getting served at 16 in year 11. So like by the time I got to year sixth form, I was just free.
A lush.
And like it was just like, and everyone was going out because you used to our year 12s and year 13 sort of it was mixed. So you'd end up going out with the year 13s who were obviously already 18. So it was just like this whole world just opened up to me where I was like, fuck biology. You know what I mean? My biology lessons are after school now, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of hard for any of it to hold your attention at that age, isn't it? Really?
I think especially if you've sort of like knuckled down all the way through school, as soon as you are allowed a bit of freedom, it takes over. And I think I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing because I think you learn a lot of other sort of like socially needed things. You know, it's the same with going to university. You learn just as much out of the education, but within the institution, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that especially at uni because you're moving out, aren't you? That's the thing. Like you move out 18, exactly, like, you make new friends.
I left
you find out how many Jaeger bombs you can drink without throwing up. You know.
Yeah, exactly. All of that kind of daft stuff. But like, I left home at 18, and I've never been back. So it's like, I guess you just learn these things, and freedom for me was just sort of like I was like, once I'd seen it, once I knew what it was and what you could do, I didn't sort of like education sort of like just faded away in a way.
Well, I think when you're at school, you kind of have to make distractions, don't you? You have to find stuff to distract you. But the second you get to college, like you say, you just the kind of the training wheels are taken off, and it's like, look, if you want to distract yourself, mate, piss off. And it's like, well, I mean, all right, I will.
And because you treat like an adult, you know, in sort of like inverted commas, it's like if you didn't turn up to that lesson or whatever, you wouldn't get sort of like put into detention for that. You'd just be like, look, it's your future that you're fucking up. Jog on. You know, if you want to miss those lessons, miss them. You wouldn't actually get like reprimanded or like we used to have things like in secondary school report cards. So if you fucked up, you'd get a report card, and that went straight to your mum and dad. You know, and it was like, you know, Les did not turn up to religious education because he finds the whole thing a bag of balls. That kind of stuff.
And look at you now, you know, a devout Catholic.
Exactly.
But yeah, I always found, I remember at college, the one that got me was they were like, you know, you have like parents' evenings at school. At college, they were like, oh, we have an evening, but you just go along and we like tell you how you're doing. And I was like, well, that was horrific. Like, at least at parents' evening, you can kind of pretend it's not happening. You just have to sit down with your teacher and they're like, all right, Jake, here's how you're fucking up. All right, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
I'm exaggerating. I was all right at college.
When you went to those sixth form ones or college ones, and it was like, this is how you could do better, this is what you did. But then like 9 times out of 10, well, for me anyway, you ended up then going out with the teachers, as in like going to the pub, especially in like when everyone was 18, it was like where we were, it was kind of like, it was quite adult. And it was like, yeah, after that, we've just given you some feedback, oh, we're all going down to this pub for a pint. Like,
yeah, we had that as well. And then in hindsight, I'm like, why the fuck would like a 40-year-old want to go? I was an asshole when I was 18. Why would a 40-year-old want to go to the pub with like a group of me, you know?
I know, but maybe it's a way of sort of just trying to keep relevant.
Yeah, maybe it's like you know, that kind of thing where you're like, look, it's like the chain smoking guy, right? You're there like, this teacher's telling me what I've done wrong, and now they're in the pub with me, so they are just a normal bloke. Maybe I should listen to them. Rather than just being like, oh, fuck him. We got to call our teachers by their first names as well at college, but I think that was just Bryson, you know. Oh no, it was you as well. I just thought it was just Brighton being hippies. Well.
Like, or some of them was like, we don't believe, or don't call me sir, don't call me by my second name, just call me, you know, Peter or whatever, or Caroline or whatever. Like, yeah. So that kind of, and I guess that removes boundaries as well, in a good way and a positive way. But it also is that part of like, oh, well, this is a different type of freedom now. So, you know, you applied yourself differently, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't. I scraped it together in the last exams, but until then, I really wasn't doing much. I was just lazy though. I wasn't like acting out or anything. I just couldn't be bothered. I was just like, I just wasn't doing the work. It wasn't that I was like, being an arsehole. I was just like, eh. And then in the final exams, I finally did some work.
Yeah, I think that's most people's experience. Well, I'd like to think so anyway, because that was my experience. So.
Well, it must be universally applicable then. All right, Mez.
Well,
have you got a final track for us for this podcast? Final back to school banger.
Tell you what, let's go with, because when I was at sixth form, the Strokes had just hit their stride with their second album. I mean, they were already phenomenal. So let's go with something off their new record. This is At the Door by the Strokes.
Trying to build no dynasty. I can't see beyond this wall.
Nice. I like that little complete circle there, Mez. Shows you were thinking about this, which is nice. It's nice that you did your homework. Turned it in. Straight A's.
Back to school, doing homework.
I'm happy to say you've passed the course. And that's another episode of Mez's Sunday Lunch, now complete with jingle. We'll be back next month, I think, for a Halloween special. Is that right?
Oh, is it Halloween next month, October? Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is going to be good. I mean, Halloween, not that I've ever been to really many parties, but that is going to be the one. That is going to be the one.
A Halloween Sunday lunch.
A Halloween Sunday lunch. Absolute pumpkin phenomenon.
And on that note, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening, guys. Sorry for any technical glitches, and I hope you enjoyed the jingle. So goodbye.
See you later.
If you've got sausage and mash and gravy, Yorkshire pudding and roast potatoes, eat your veggies by the bunch, listening to Mez's Sunday Lunch.